guys, welcome back to Pros Amongst Thorns, and today's video is going to be my March TBR. If you didn't see last month, I started my own TBR game using Norse runes, which correspond to specific prompts, which I then read a book that fits in with that prompt. Last month I chose to do 5 prompts, but I've decided for every month that I'm able to read all of the prompts, I'm going to add an extra prompt on. So instead of doing 5 like I did last month, this month I'm doing 6. I do feel like I could add an extra prompt on, and I've made it even harder because I've chosen quite a few big chunky books. Through it all, I'll be dodging my cat who's trying to grab my arm for attention, and yeah, just being annoying as per usual. But yeah. Before I get too far into the video, I just want to say thank you for watching. I really appreciate everybody's comments and all the likes. People seem to have really enjoyed the Norse Runes video, and I encourage you to join in, do your own version of the Norse Rune TBR game. I'd love to see it, so tag me in that, and yeah, I'd love to see more people get involved because it is actually really fun. I've tried with all of the runes to come up with prompts that fit with what the rune means, and some of them are a bit more tenuous than others, so it's kind of hit and miss, and it's just kind of a sign of how my brain works. First rune I pulled was Uthila. This rune is the rune of heritage, tradition, family property, so like ancestral property, so it's all sort of linking with the past and important things, I guess. So for this I went for classics. Now I've kind of cheated a little bit for this because I've chosen 2 books, and I'll explain why. But the first one I chose was Dante's Inferno. I have wanted to read this for ages, and I've got this fantastic penguin version that's all like embossed. It's so lovely, and it's just like, I want to put that on my wall. It's amazing, and I'm just really intrigued to read it. The second book I chose was War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. So as you can tell, these two are completely like opposite ends of the spectrum. Dante's Inferno looks like quite a short read, whereas War and Peace is an absolute monster. The reason I've chosen 2 is because I do have 2 books already in the TBR that are like over 400 pages, and I don't know if having 3 400 plus books is too much. So if I have like a week or more by the end of the month, then I'll probably try and read War and Peace, because I do want to read it this year, and it was one of those books that I put in my 2021 reading goals video. But I also really want to read Dante's Inferno, so depending on how I feel and how the month is going, I might even read them both. If we're lucky, I'll get through the 2 of them. The second rune I pulled was Dagar's. Now this rune is the rune of daylight, breakthroughs, and transformations. So for me, I went for a book I wouldn't usually read, sticking with that theme of like transformation and like a new light, like I'm finding something new and turning a corner and sort of opening myself up to that chance to find something that I might not have appreciated the first time round. So I went for 3 Arachnids in a Warship by Michael Coolwood. The video is not yet out because I'm waiting for everybody to receive their boxes, but this is from Book Loving Dragon's sci-fi themed box. Now she does these bi-monthly boxes that all have a theme where she features a indie author, and this month it was sci-fi themed, and we had Michael Coolwood giving us 2 books. I don't really read a lot of sci-fi, so this was the perfect choice for me, and I hate spiders, so it's definitely not something I would pick up usually. But Michael Coolwood seems really, really funny, and I'm not going to go into it in too much detail because I would highly recommend checking out the video once I do upload it. But if you are interested in getting the box for yourself, for not this month but the month after, then I highly recommend taking a look at Book Loving Dragon's store and using my code PROS10 to get yourself a discount. The box is amazing, and you will see that when I finally post my unboxing, but until then you can watch my mystery box unboxing, which she chooses books based on your preferences that you tell her beforehand, and that hit the nail on the head. But this one I'm very, very intrigued to try, and yeah, it just seems like a funny sci-fi. The third rune I pulled was Bearkarna. Now this rune is for new beginnings, birth and growth. I thought this would fit really well for a new author, so any book on my shelves or from the library by an author that I haven't read before. I've gone for The Last Bear by Hannah Gold this month. I'm reading this with Kaleidoscopic Tours in March, so I have to get it read anyway, so it's quite useful because it's a book I would have to read in March anyway, and it looks fantastic. It's I think it's a children's book. It's got illustrations, which I love. It is a children's book. It kind of seems like along the lines of Michael Morpurgo, who I've always loved reading, and I do like to read some kids' books every now and again, and especially with my job as part of a literacy charity, we have our own little lending library for the children, so I'm actually really curious to see if this would be something we'd like to feature on our pirate ship. But the best thing about this book, I mean, first of all, the cover is absolutely gorgeous and the illustrations are fantastic, like I have flicked through. But look at this, underneath is this beautiful foiled gold cover that is like the same as on the front. It's just fantastic, like it's so beautiful. Because I was gonna donate this to the pirate ship, but I don't think I can let it go. So yeah, but that's my third book and I'm really excited because it seems like quite a nice short read, or at least a quick read. The fourth rune I pulled was Isa. So this rune translates into ice. So it means like stagnation, delay, obstacles. So it's all about something that's like blocking your path. So there were quite a few ways I could go with this, and I did think about doing something to do with series that I haven't started or have stopped reading for some reason, but I've got a few prompts like that already, so I decided to go with returning to a book that I've DNF'd. So I've decided to return to Midnight's Children by Salman Rushdie. I read this at university. I say I read it, I didn't. This was on one of our units for magical realism, which I absolutely adore, and I did my MRes topic on magical realism. So it's something I'm really interested in, but I just couldn't get into the book. I read the first 50 pages and I just wasn't interested at all. I have since watched some of the movie and I did find it really intriguing, so I'm not quite sure what it was that stopped me from getting into it. And Rushdie is like, he is a household name in magical realism, so the fact that I haven't read it honestly like really upsets me. So I am using this prompt as a good excuse to return to this book, which I wanted to do anyway. So I'm going to return to it and hopefully, well, I mean, it's on this, so I have to finish it. I'm so excited to return to Midnight's Children and hopefully finish it. If you have read this, I'd be really curious to see what you found, because I was told by my lecturer if I didn't like it by page 50, I probably wouldn't. But my girlfriend didn't like it, but she started to around like the 100, 150 page mark. So I'd be really curious to see what you found with this book, if you've read it. The fifth rune I pulled was Uruz. This rune means strength, health, endurance, and power. For me, this meant only one thing: reading a very long book. And this is one of the biggest books I have on my shelf at the moment. It's Stephen King and Owen King's Sleeping Beauties. I picked this up like when it came out. It was like on offer at our local Waterstones and I just couldn't resist it. Like inside it's got this like beautiful like blue foiled fox on it, which I think is gorgeous, and they had like loads of different animals and we spent ages like picking which one we wanted the most. I don't really know much about it. I saw that it was by Stephen King and that it was like half price and it was a new release and I bought it, and that's all I know. On the back it just says don't wake them, and I think it's essentially all the women in the world have fallen asleep and the men have to try and do something about it. King is a fantastic writer and I have started reading more books of his. I think I've read 2 or 3 so far and I've loved most of them. I wasn't a massive fan of the short story collection, but we'll leave that for another day. I am really intrigued to see what this book is like, and I just continue to hear like fantastic things about King always, and I don't see many people saying that he has bad books, just that like some of them aren't as good as the rest. And that his endings are usually quite bad, but that's not been my experience so far. I'm really intrigued to get to this. I have been putting it off forever because it is a 700 page like monster, like bigger than my head. It's a big book So, I mean, not only is strength and endurance getting through 700 pages, but just holding this is like quite hard. It weighs a ton. So this was the perfect pick for my long book prompt, and I'm really excited. So my final prompt, my bonus prompt for the month, is Lagooze, and for this it means like intuition, the unconscious, like a psychic ability. So I went for a 5-star prediction, mainly because for me that kind of shows that you're like intuiting what a book's going to be like. You're using like your psychic abilities to try and find a book that you think you'll enjoy. So I've gone for Goldie Vance. I have been so desperate to try this, so I've been trying to save it for a good moment. And I think with the heaviness of this month of TBR, like even if I do choose Dante's Inferno, I know it's not going to be an easy read at all. So it's still like quite a heavy month of books. So Goldie Vance is like a graphic novel. It's apparently a queer, it's a queer POC Nancy Drew. And honestly, like just look at the front page gets me. The front page, the cover gets me. Like it just looks so good, and I wanted to start reading more graphic novels, and this one just like stood out to me. It was one that I've wanted to pick up for months and months, so it was like the first thing I bought in my Christmas haul of graphic novels. Hopefully it'll be fantastic, and in my March wrap up I can tell you all how brilliant it is and to go grab yourselves a copy. So those are the 6 prompts I have for this month, and the 7 books that I would love to read, but the 6 that I have to. And I also have an added book. So I'm reading The Wreck. I can't remember who it's by, but I will put that like here. I'm reading The Wreck as part of a book club I'm in Portsmouth. We have a library book club where we meet over Zoom. So I'll be reading that from the library. And I like to listen to an audiobook whilst I'm doing my work. So I'm going to continue with Crescent City because I don't think I'm going to finish it this week. I've got like 10 hours left, so we'll see what happens there. And yeah, probably finish it in early March. Then I need to listen to Murder is the Word? The Word is Murder by Anthony Horowitz. I've read the second in the series, but not the first. I've decided, thanks to the last video, Book Loving Dragons gave an amazing comment about an idea for a punishment. If I do not finish the books, I will be reading a book that I do not want to read. So my girlfriend has put together a list of the books that I have downright refused to read because I'm just not interested. Things like Me Before You, like Marley and Me, anything that's just like really sad, I can't deal with it. I'm emotionally unstable enough without having to read devastating books. So if I don't hit my TBR, like if I don't read all the books from the prompts, then I have that punishment. I'm also trying to think of like some other things, maybe to spice it up a bit, have like a punishment jar. So if you have any ideas for good punishments, please put them in the comments below, because I really want to like force myself to read and I need your help to do so. I've thought about donating to charity, but that's not really a punishment. Whilst talking about charity, I am doing a charity unhaul in March. If you would like to get involved, please message me. So there will be links in the description to all of my social medias. I would love it if you could reach out or comment on this video and we'll get in touch with you. And I'm happy to give more details on that in the future. I'm going to do a little video on it, but I would love to have more of you involved with that. So yeah, if you'd like to join in with a charity unhaul to support a literacy charity, comment below and yeah, get in touch with me, I guess. But thank you for watching. If you've even made it this far, these videos are usually me rambling, so I've tried really hard not to talk too much and are now talking endlessly. I'd love to hear what you thought on the video. If you think I needed to talk more about what the books are about, I'm trying to keep these videos short and sweet because those are the ones that seem to do best. But if you'd rather I gave you like a brief description of the blurb, then please do let me know. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, maybe even put on notifications if you don't want to miss the videos. But I really appreciate all your support and hope you stick around for the next one. Thanks guys, bye!